Hello my friends and welcome to a very new episode of the unofficial Mimo Live tutorials. I hope that I'm live. I cannot see it currently, but if you can see me, just give a beep in the comments. So, hello and welcome to this very new episode. Most of the issues I have with Mimo Live has something to do with how to separate content from design or design from layout or both of it. And when I want to do something like this, it gets very complex. When I want to start a certain pre-roll, for instance, and I need some layer sets, at least one for one pre-roll, and when I want to change the designs, I have to set everything up, yes, in lots of variants, and yes, it really gets out of the border, yes, because the complexity is very heavy. Then I have to set all the API endpoints. When I use scripting for this, I have to set up all the API endpoints. I have to use lots of global variables where I put in all of these changes, and then I'm able to change the values by the total amount of frame rate. So when I have a frame rate of 30, I can do 30 changes in the best situation per second. And this is one reason why I added to mimoURLscripter a feature which helps to separate design from layout. And this I want to try today. And I hope that you join me to do this. So what am I doing now? I just show up Mimo Live whenever I find it. It's somewhere here on screen, so I have to bring it in that you can follow. And wherever Mimo Live is now, here it is. So I bring it in. So you have Mimo Live now on screen, and this is my basic setup for today. What do you see here? Here I have a bunch of different pre-rolls. Yes. So let's see what do I have here. Here is the unofficial Mimo Live tutorials pre-roll, and then here are 1, 2, 3, 4 further variants for my German classes. And a typical setup looks like this. You have the pre-roll inside of a layer like here, and then it's started by hand or by a script or with the help of layer sets. But today I'm going to show you how you can separate the design from the layout and also the content from the positions. And this is very relevant because when you're able to change the content independently from the design or from the layout, then you can use one document for all of your productions. And when you add a feature inside of your document, it can be used in any show. Yes, so let's start. This is typical normal. Yes, there is anywhere a layer which shows a pre-roll. Maybe it's started with a layer set, or maybe it's started by pressing a button or by a key press. Yes, however it is configured. But here we have some pre-rolls, but I want to get rid of this. I want to reduce this to one line, yes, to one variant. So whenever I access the start the pre-roll moment, I want to have just only one layer set which is responsible to do this. So how do I do this? I add a script layer. I use the Muse script layer, and this I call just a format. Yes, as you know, I always write an S before of it, so I know it's a script. Yes, script format. Sometimes I have views on screen where I cannot see, is it a script or is it something else? So I write a tiny S before of it, so I know this is a script. And the first variant I call unofficial Mimo Live tutorials. The second variant I call like my German classes are called. I just add another variant and I call this variant then ABC plus. It's one of my formats, and then I have a format which is called A plus, and then I have a format which is called B plus, and finally I have a format which is called C plus. The formats, how should I say, are called like this because these are the language levels. Yes. So, hi James, nice to see you. So let's see this. How does it now work? Yes, I just get rid of all of these variants here. And here I pre-configured the variants, yes, but I add simply a new one. I bring it on the top and I call it, as ever, dynamic. Yes, and dynamic is very short. I know it's dynamic then, yes, and it's not much to write. So with which commands do we change this here? We have here the video source, and currently it's configured to pre-roll A plus. And when I want to set this value, I can do this by just adding a script line, muse set value for, and now for what? For the layer, which is called pre-roll. And pre-roll, yes. Is it called pre-roll? Let's check this. Yes, the layer is called pre-roll. And the layer variant is called dynamic, din. So I write this here to dynamic. Now it's an input value. Now I could write attributes input values. So I could write here attributes input values. But I can also use the abbreviation for this, and this is just star. Yes. And now I need the name for this field, and I get this here. mimoLive provides a function which is called copy. Just right click directly on video source, copy video source API key. Then I get this key which I want to overwrite. Yes, and I add this here. Now I have the key inside, and now I have to pass the new value for this. And this I do with an equation sign, and now I have to get the value from the source. So what source do I want to assign? Yes. So here I want to have the pre-roll for the unofficial mimoLive tutorials. mimoTuts. It's called mimoTuts, the source. So I say get value from, and it's a source. And the name of the source is umimo. Now you cannot see it. I have to bring it further in the middle. Yes, mimoTuts. It's just the name of the source. And now I want to have the so-called ID. It's the ID. mimoLive saves the ID of the unofficial mimoLive tutorial source into this here, into this variable. So let's test this. I click this, and with a bit of luck, it worked. It changed it from that was currently there to that I wanted. So now I don't want to rewrite this. I copy this for the ABC plus. I just paste it here and I change here ABC plus. Oh, what is it called? It's called pre-roll ABC plus. I just copy this from here. Then I do not do any typing errors. And this is what I have to change. So let's test this. I click this and now this here has changed to pre-roll ABC plus. Amazing, isn't it? Yes, you can do this with the standard layer, with the standard automation layer of mimoLive, but you have to copy all the API endpoints. You have to do lots of global variables and things like this to make this happen. Then I repeat this for A plus, and pre-roll A plus is the name. So I go to the next script and I simply paste this line, so I don't have to do lots of writing. And what is it called? Pre-roll A plus. So I change this to pre-roll A plus. So it should work when I just delete B and Z. Yes. Let's test this. I click this and with a bit of luck it worked. Now we have here A plus inside. Yes. Okay, I repeat this for B plus and Z plus. For B plus, I just get rid of the Z and the A, so now it's B plus. And for C plus, Opla, here it is. So for C plus. Okay, now what is it working? Let's have a look at dynamic. Yes, now we have here C plus, and I just I could click this now, and let's see this, and hopla here, and it's changed to B plus. Yes, and now when I click here, it's changed dynamically to A plus. Yes, and with this principle, we can change every value. So we can also change values which are relevant for design or for layout. And we can group these however we want. So whenever it's part of the format, I will paste the change inside of this part of the script. So when I change the format, everything inside of mimoLive will be changed to exactly these values which are necessary to represent the format. Yes, now it's getting genius, isn't it? Yes, what is the big advantage? You have one button to change the whole format. You can add border values, you can add the complete styling, yes? Let's test this for my border value, yes? But before we start, this is just changing the values, yeah? This is not starting anything, so when you want to start this, you can just start this. It starts, or you can change another to another format, and whatever the changes are, it takes effect. Now we have B plus. Yeah, this is very, very, very convenient, and with this we can take out the huge amount of air of all of this complexity. So I can get rid of these variants. I don't need them anymore. So, but what about my border color? Yes, I have the border color white, and I want to change the border color in general for my oval version of this. Yes, I want to change this, but I have also here a full screen version. Layout, design. What is layout? What is design? This is layout, and the design is, for instance, the border. So maybe I should dynamize the me. Yes. So how should I dynamize this? I could add a new variant, and I could call this also dynamic. And here I could write everything which is needed. So when a layout change is to be done, I could add it here. Not a layout change, a format change. And everything which should change the layout, yeah, where is the me at the moment? Is it in full screen, or is it here on the side, or anywhere else? I could also change. So let's do this. I get rid of the full screen version, and I also get rid of the former oval version. Yes, I just drop it. Now I'm gone. So I'm back again. This is now the dynamic variant, and I want to have every single, how should I say, every single place of myself on screen as a script. So how should we do this? First of all, we should add the border color and some other things to the format. Yes, for instance, for the unofficial Mimo Live tutorials, I want to have the border pink. Yes, so what am I doing? I go here into the layer preview, and somewhere at the bottom of this, I have to scroll it up a bit. Somewhere at the bottom of it, yes, now you can see it. Here is the border color, and here, by the way, there's the corner radius. Yes, I can also change the corner radius, and sometimes maybe I want to have it a bit clunky, yes, and sometimes I want to have it more round like this here, like an oval. Yes, so what can I do? I want to I never want to use the white one, so I said I want to have a very pink button, a border. Let's choose this, and I want to have the corner radius on 82, yes, like it is now. And when I want to change this, I can do this as I did it before with these here. So what do I have here? I have here the color, and when I press here, I get here the key. But I need the value for the alpha. So how transparent is it? I need the it's in RGBA. Yes, the color is in RGBA. So I have to riddle a bit. But no, I don't have. I can directly open here the Firefox and the mimoURLscripter, and I can read out these values I need. So I click here and I enlarge this a bit for you, so you can see it better, what I'm typing here. I type here just generator and get values. And now for what do I want to have the values? Here I type the layer name. For instance, we have here me. Yes, so I do this here, me, and press enter. Now I get all the values and keys, and I flip it in that we can browse the generator. So now I want to have for all the layers, it's one. I could here place 20 layers and could change everything in one bunch, but this is not something I don't need at the moment. So I can press here the grouped section, and there I have geometry, appearance, content, transition, and control. And in Mimo Live, I have these sections also. So here I have the appearance section, and I need all the values from the appearance section, especially the border color value. Yes, and I just want to change the border color value. Everything else should be as it is. Or maybe we want to change everything here. Maybe we want to change the complete appearance section, also the background color. So how do I do this? Here I have appearance, and I can simply copy this here to change everything inside of the appearance. So I could say for the unofficial Mimo Live tutorials, the appearance should be rounded colors and the pink border. So I add this muse, and I just copy, I just paste everything I copied. Yes. So then, what is next? For ABC Plus, I want to have it similar, but a bit clunkier. Wait a second. Here, a bit clunkier. Let's redesign this a bit. Not in pink. I think some kind of green border would match this the best. Yes, so let's use a green border, but a bit clunkier. So not so round, maybe something like this. Yeah, I think I like this. Okay, so now I can just refresh this and it gets the actual value from this. Yeah. So I go back to appearance, I flip it in again, then I can find it much faster. All and grouped and appearance, and I copy this code. Yeah. So copy, and I paste it here for A+. Yes, I said for A+. So muse. So this layout change will be done in general for this layer. So let's test the changes. Yes, and as you can see, it's used immediately. Yeah. Now it's a visible change, but when you do this before the show, nobody can see the change. Yes? But you can also do this on purpose and change it on purpose. And when, for instance, this layer here has another is on another position, just the border and the roundness is affected. Yes, but let's do this for ABC Plus. For ABC Plus, it can be a bit clunkier, and for instance, like this. Yes, the border could be a bit thicker, and for this, I want to have a slight yellow, greenish border. Yes, I like this. Maybe the border is a bit too thick for this format. Maybe this is much better. Yes. So what do I do for ABC Plus? I just do it again. I copy all the changes I need for the group appearance. Yeah. So let's copy this and paste it again. Yeah, I think I catched all the values. So this was for ABC Plus. So I simply add this muse and all of this. So let's check it. I press here and it gets like we configured. I press here, it gets like we configured. I press here and it gets like configured. So in this kind, you're able to change the format and a bit the design. Yes, you can use this technique to change whatever you want to change. And because of this, it's just only one variant. You don't have to fiddle around with lots of alternatives. Later, we will see how to change the position of that what should be visible on screen. This is an own script because the position is dependent on other things on screen. Yes. So how should B plus look like? I cannot remember the B plus pre-roll. Just have a look. What is the empty color? Okay, this is very yellow and greenish. So maybe we want to have anything in the blue direction. Yes, so for the border. So let's go back here and let's change the background color to something bluish, maybe something in the bright blue direction, something like this. Yes, the border can be stronger, maybe something like this. Yes, and the corner radius can be a bit clunkier for this format. It's just a bit different. Yes, the difference is the thing that makes your stream. Yeah, so let's refresh this. I flip it in again to get the value much faster. So grouped and appearance. So let's copy and paste this. And by the way, here is the format change. Yeah, so appearance border, for instance, the green part of the color from RGBA. Yes, or the alpha value. Yes, and this you don't have to remember. It's simply to just copy and paste it. So Muse, let's paste it in. And C plus is very bluish, so maybe we should something have which is into the yellow direction. Yes, maybe this works very fine. So let's change this into the yellow direction. Yes, I think this is good, but the border is a bit too thick, I think, and it could be a bit chunkier. Hoppla. Other direction. Yes. So let's copy this and paste it. I flip it in. I click on the generator. I click on here on group and appearance, and I copy these value changes. And now I paste it here. Yes, it's immediately used. So when I click this, it changes. So we have here just a tiny bit of difference when you can see this. Yes, and here it's a bit huger. Yeah, and this is getting eggish. Yes. So, and I promised when I change my image, yes, to something else, and when I click the format, I just get rid a bit of the image, and when I change the format, just the format changes. Yes, just the colors are changing independently from that what is configured else. And now you can see how to change the format independently from the design. So whenever I need a full screen version, I could simply use this layer, and then I can yeah, bring the border to 0 and the roundness to 0 just for this. Yes, and then it grows and is full screen. Let's do some tests. Yes, just simply I want to bring it from here. No, that's too huge. I want to bring it from here. I said here. From something like this, more in the corner. Yes, maybe here. So this is one of the positions. I just create another automation layer which is handling the positions. Yes, so for instance, pause me. Yes, and I call the position bottom, tiny bottom right, tiny bottom right. And when I click this, I want to bring wherever my image is to this position. But how do I do this? I just copy the dimensions. Yes, so I go here, I do a refresh to get the brand new values. And for this, I want to use only, I flip it in again, I want to use only the group of, what do we have? Geometry. Here it is. The group of geometry changes everything which is here inside of geometry. So it's because of it's the flip, for instance, yes, or and the position on screen and things like this. Yes, everything which is included inside of geometry should be changed exactly to this here. So what am I doing? I simply copy the geometry value. Just for safety reasons, I refresh it again. I'm not sure if I did it already. So I flip it in, generator, all grouped, then geometry, and now I copy this part and I just change it here. So muse, and I paste it there. Okay, this is now the current position, and I want to have an alternative position. For instance, full screen. Yes. So my next position should be full screen. I get rid of the content of this script here. Yes. So what am I doing? I bring this to full screen. So what am I doing? I just get rid of all of these values. I set them to 0. And now I have to get rid of myself so you can see it better. But I have here, if you have a tiny look here, I have here already the border. Yes, do you see this? So just for full screen, I have to overwrite these values also. Yes, so from the corner radius, yes, and the thickness of the border, it should be set to 0. So now I have this here. Everything inside of this is now set on 0. So when I copy this here, it is brought to full screen, but with rounded corners. So first of all, I copy this. And I have to refresh this, and I click on generator, on grouped, and the geometry. Yes, this part is here important. So I copy this and I paste it, but for full screen, muse. But for full screen, I need additional things I want to add. So what do I want to add? I want to add appearance, but not everything, just a few things. I want to get rid of the border. So what do I have to do? I have to bring the corner radius to 0, the border width to 0. And now it's really full screen. Yes, can you see this? Now it's really full screen, no border, no radius. So for these two values, or three values, corner radius, border width, and border color, I have to add extra variables just for full screen. Yes, but for everything else not, just for full screen. So what am I doing? I click on refresh. I inflate everything to get everything quicker. And here I have the appearance. But now I don't need everything. I just need the things we change. I don't want to change the color value, because when I overwrite it, I would have to set the design again. So what do I need? I just need some of these. So I copy this and I delete everything that I don't need. So I just use an editor. Yes, I paste it. It's more convenient to see it here. I bring it a bit down so you can see it better. And these are all the values. So what do I don't want to change? I don't, the background color should be as it is. So everything where you can see background color stays. The appearance color, no, I don't want to change the background color. I don't want to change any color. Yes, I don't, I just want to change the values for, how should I say, for, for this here. Wait a second, I'll show it again. I only want to change the corner radius and the border width, but anything else should stay as it is. So we just have to change corner radius and border width. So we could write the command by hand, or we just copy this. So corner radius and width, this we have to remember. So I'm sorry. So where is the corner radius? Let's see. Corner radius, corner radius, corner radius. Then we can copy and paste it. Corner radius, border width. Here we have the border width. So I copy this. Border width. It's on 0. I copy this. And I simply add the part for the full screen. So I can add it at the beginning or at the end. Yes, I add it at the beginning. Yes, and now the width was the one thing, and the radius. So where do we have the radius? Maybe I should search on this page, then we find it faster. Radius, here. Radius, appearance, here it begins, set value for layer me, appearance, radius. So this is also 0. As you can see, you can copy and paste everything. You don't have to write a single line of code. And maybe the final version of this URL scripter will have a section except especially for this. Okay, so let's test this. I click on full screen. So I click on full screen and now on the other button. Full screen, other button. Full screen, other button. Yeah? Full screen, other button. But now, so the format, now full screen, other button. So Y is now the how should I say, the corner radius gone. Haven't we set the corner radius in our script? Let's see if it is included or not. So do we have the corner radius inside, or have I forgotten it? Here we don't need it. Here we just want to override this. Where is my mistake in thinking? Where is my mistake in thinking? Here we get rid of it. Here it comes back. We overwrite it. We overwrite this. You see, we have an issue. How do we get the corner radius out of the image, and how do we keep this here? How do we keep this here? Hmm. How do we keep this here? Let me think a bit, because the full screen is overwriting our settings for the corner radius. Hmm. Hmm. Full screen. Yes, full screen seems to be a problem. Um, Radius and border width. Yes, it's overwritten, and this is the reason why it gets lost. It gets lost. How can we solve this? How can we solve this? When I press this, now I have the corners here. Now I have the corners here. When I press this, I have the corners here. Hmm. I don't want to make it huger than necessary. I could now set the full screen to a huger size, yes, to bring the border outside of the image. But what if it is like this? Yes, here's the corner radius, very, very strong, yes. And here we would have to bring lots of outside the image. What could we do? Maybe we should use it as global variables. Maybe we should use it as global variables. So it is being taken every time. I don't know if this works. Let's test this. Let's test this with these two, and then we know it. Okay, so I don't write muse. I write global variable. So set variable, and I give it the name format. And I bring it inside of how should I say? I do it here, then you can see it better what I'm doing. So let's make it a bit huge. How can I get rid of this? Okay, here. So these are our changes, yes. And I want to set a variable which is called simply format. And the content should be set value for, but it should be submitted to the script. So I write http localhost 8888 set value for. And the end of it is simply the quotation mark, which is necessary for the script. So we have here two. Not for the pre-roll. So sorry. Just for the second part. Yes. Set variable and I want to submit it, call it format, and I want to submit it to HTTP localhost 8888. Yes, this is the link which the muse command represents. Yes, so I could send it here. Is it now complete? Yes, I think so. So I copy this and I bring it back into this here. I'm just allowed to delete the second command. So just a second. Hopla. I don't want to bring myself now in full screen. The first change we did was the pre-roll. Also muse. This should be the pre-roll. Then again, and now here paste this. I just add the pre-roll again because I deleted it by mistake. So I copied the line from the second one and I bring it here in. So this should be the pre-roll change. Okay, so the first pre-roll was mimoTuts ID. So mimoTuts ID. So okay, now it's in a variable, and now I have to test this. The change should be done here, but only for full screen. So I want to get rid of the changes we did only for full screen. So it's the geometry. No, it's not included anymore, isn't it? Wait a second. Is it included? No, it isn't included. Now I try to call these changes with the global variable I set. Okay, so maybe we can get rid of this. So let's change this before all the other changes, but I have to do this here. I want to make it huger for you. So here. Is this the correct layer? Yes, for full screen. So format. So the changes should be done before. So HTTP request and then format. Okay, this should work. Let's have a look. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. This line I will add everywhere where this format should be changed. Yes, so I add it also here in this section, but on the very top, so it's changed before everything else. Okay. Let's try this. So now it's active. Let's try this. Okay, there is a request submitted, but there is nothing being done. There is something I have to think about. This has to be thought, I think. Yes. So we can use it for everything currently except the full screen. Have I understood this correctly? Yes. So maybe I should do a workaround at the moment. Maybe I should set the values for full screen a bit huger than it is for full screen, just for now, yes. But the final version of this script language will have a proper way, yes. So let's check the most craziest variant of this. So I just have to change the unofficial Mimo Live tutorials version again. So it's a muse command again, and not a global variable. It was set variable, it was not the global variable. Okay, I know the issue, but okay. So muse, and I have to get rid of this quote at the end. Okay, let's check it again. Does it work now? Yes, it's working than before. Okay, for the full screen, I have to calculate the border in at the moment, but this should not break everything else I want to show. So for full screen, I want to change the values to another value. So I click this and I just make it a bit huger than normal, just to get rid of the border in case there is a border. Okay. So maybe we should say 20, -20, -40, -40, or 20, -40. So let's use these values as a workaround currently, okay? But the final version will have a solution for this. But as noticed, it's an alpha version and the final beta version will be published at the end of the week. So let's continue. Einklappen means just to bring it again, to flip it in. So I copy the variant, here is it, the appearance, the geometry for my pseudo full screen, yes, just to get rid of the border in case we don't need it. So I get here inside and I change this here, muse, and I bring this in. So let's test it. I click to the right and now to the top. Yes, it's a bit huger than normal. So the border is outside of the screen. But this should not be in the final version. Yeah. So when I click this, it changes to that what it should. Yeah. But anyways, it does what it should. Yes. So what do we have now? Now we have here one position which is changing by clicking on values. Yes, and what I also want for the position me is that it's not only me, it's always the host. Yes, so I want to change dynamically the content which I can place inside of here. So here my video source is AV Joe. It's here because it's called AV Joe. And I want to dynamically change the content of the me layer. So I add a new one, a new automation layer. And I call this set video for me. Okay, and the first variant is, for instance, myself. So I call this JO. And now what can I do? I simply copy again this API endpoint name, the key name, and then I write again muse set value, you cannot see it, set value for, and it's a layer, and the layer is called me, and the variant is called dynamic. Then I explained it before. With the star you can, the star is an abbreviation for attributes input values, and there we have this already copied key. And for this I want to use get value from sources or source. Yes, not sources, get value from source, and the name of the source is AV Joe. This is the name of the source, AV Joe, and as before we need the ID for this. So whenever I click this, the ID is here. Let's take another thing, for instance, my overhead camera. Yes, and now when I click this, it's changed to me. Then what else could be here as a variant? Yes, maybe there is a host from a mimo call. then I can simply add a variant, maybe from mimoCall1, so MC1, and I simply rewrite here AV mimoCall1. I called it AV mimoCall1, like here. So this source is used instead. Now it's a placeholder because there is no connection. So simply I can change now independently the content, however it looks. Yes, I can click here and I can change the content to mimoCall or to the overhead camera. I just add this. Yes, I just add this. Just to do, it could be also another camera, yes, not only the overhead camera, but I call it OH now. The real name is AVOH, yes, AVOH, AVOH. And when I click this, I go to the preview, or I bring it inside. When I click this, it changes to the overhead camera, yes, or to any other one. So I can separate the content from the design, and I can separate the layout from the design and the content. And this brings a big advantage because at the layer sets, you just combine changes inside of the layout. With format buttons, you decide before the show which show should be used. And finally, this brings every possibility that you are able to choose. I bring myself back, yes. Finally, this makes it possible that you can change on the fly the content. And this brings me to the positions, because the me position is just only one position. And here I have currently Mimo Live as a background, yes, and this could be also valid for a second layer, for a third layer, and a fourth layer, and you could combine this to a switcher, yeah, that changes values on the fly. And with set live command, you can wildly set things live or set off. This is also valid for each of these variants. Yes, I can call from anywhere inside of Mimo Live as set video for me, and then to a value just by calling set live layer set video for me, and then in brackets Joe, for instance. Yeah? Let's do this. Let's change the video with a sleep of 2, yes, between of it, and all of these. Yes. So what am I doing? I add a new automation layer. And this could be a sequence, sequence, and I call this sequence sequence A, because it's very short. And what do I want to do? I want to call this variant, and this variant. So what do I write? I write muse, and then what is the name of the layer? The name of the layer is S set video for me. So I write set live, and then I write layer, then I write S set live for me. I think this was the name of the layer. No, set, I copy it. So I copy it. When I copy it, I don't have to remember what is the name exactly. So this is the correct one. And now the variant. So for instance, Joe. Now I want to sleep for 2 seconds. And now I want to have it for the next variant. I want to sleep 2 seconds. And then I want to have it for the next variant. And I want to sleep 2 seconds. whatever the next variant is doing. So I change Joe to OH, and I change Joe to MC1. Yes, and when I run it, this happens. And now the script is over. I click it again. Yes. So as you can see, you can call every script from outside, and the cool thing is that you can directly combine directly within scripts what should happen in what period of time. And so you can recombine everything, you can structure everything very abstract, and so you have lots of possibilities which are not possible otherwise. So, but when you simply want to cycle through variants, this is also possible. I do a sequence B, for instance. I just add a new variant, the sequence B. It should be a cycle through these variants. So I write, it's a sequence, so it should be repeated as long as I break it. So asleep should be done always, yes, for 2 seconds. And then I want to cycle through these variants. First this, then that, then this again, then that, then this again, and so on. So I copy this here again, the name, because I cannot remind these names. I set them, but I don't know the names. So I copied it. Now I go back to B, and now I say muse cycle F for forwards, and yes, you can also use cycle B for backwards, yes, and for what? For layer and the layer name. And let's test this. It should also work. So let's start it simply. And now it cycles through the variants in this kind forwards, yes. And so you could do whatever with it. You can make, you can do this also faster, yes. I take this outside, yes. It's also possible to do this much faster. This speed is dependent on the automation layer of mimoLive and the frame rate, yes. So when you use 60 frames instead of 30 frames, it doubles the speed, yes. But this is a sequence, and now I add sleep again. And finally, it's also possible to do this backwards, so in the other direction. I stop it. So I just add a new demo variant, C for instance, and now I change cycle forwards to cycle backwards. Yes, now the direction changes. And the final version will also have a cycle command which picks a variant. So you can also do something like, how should I say? Yes, whenever you want to pick anyone outside of a pool of persons, maybe there is something to win, you can pick them. So cycle backwards is cycling backwards in the other direction. So now it's from bottom to top, and with the speed that you set here. Yes, the longer you sleep, the longer it stays. Yes. Okay, so what else are you able to do? What else are you able to do? You can fetch everything into a so-called bit switcher. I mentioned it yesterday. And the bit switcher will be shown the next time. So you can combine several of these position layers, yeah, these layout layers, to one switch. And this I will show the next time. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope we see us the next time. I hope I can announce the next stream earlier, but yeah, how should I say? The next time I will show you how to combine several of these predefined layers to one switcher. So you have, for instance, for 4 positions, 4 buttons, and then you can say, yes, this should be shown, and this should be not shown. And finally, and this is the very interesting point, you have 4 buttons, you decide, you toggle it on or off, and everything brings itself into the place where it should be. So when you have one person on screen, it's automatically in full screen. When you have 2 persons on screen, it's separated, a separated split, for instance. When you have 3 persons on screen, you have a special split screen, and with together with a so-called focus position. The focus position is then every time directly anywhere in the center or near the center, and everything else arranges around of it. So this was it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope we see us the next time again. So thank you very much for joining,